Peace, y'all, and welcome to Make It Plain, the People's Talk. Dang, here with your brothers Amari and Samori. Say what's up to the people, Samori.
Revolutionary love, black people. Revolutionary love.
That's what it is, and welcome back to season 2 of the People's Talk. Dang, bigger and blacker. And as always, this is Black Power Media. Nothing more, nothing less.
That's right, man. Yo, people been asking about Make It Plain all over the little last month or so.
You know what I'm saying?
Feeding for new episodes. And we're back.
We here.
We're back. Definitely,
we here.
Definitely. And we got some serious issues to talk about.
Definitely, man. You know, a lot of folks, we can get a lot of positive feedback about the last episode of last season, man. And you know, we had a good time doing that one. We wanted to have jokes and have a good time with this episode, man. And then we realized that these ain't no joking times. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot that's going on with us, with African people in the world.
That's right.
And it's not getting quite as much exposure as it needs to. People are being blinded by the glamour and glitz of it all, and not getting down to the reality, which is death and destruction. You feel me?
No doubt. We have a situation. Actually, when I was down there in New Orleans, brother was shot 14 times, 12 times in the back.
By who?
By the pigs. This is on January 1st, 2009. Sitting in front of his house. Brother was like a Sunday school teacher or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
And of course, if you take it across the country to another instance, which has gotten a little bit more attention, and not even that much more attention, and that's the case of Oscar Grant, a 22-year-old brother who was assassinated by the police on the BART train system out there in Oakland, California. And it was caught on videotape. You dig? And unfortunately, but as is usual, there's a blackout on black suffering in the white media. So you may or may not have heard about it. So we took it to the streets, man, to find out if the people around here knew about Oscar Grant's situation, if they had seen the videotape, and what their responses are to it. Let's check it out.
Did they just shoot that dude?
Did they just shoot him? Did they shoot him?
They shoot him?
They pretty much leaned over him and shot him.
Because I didn't even know he was right there.
Sometimes the KKK or the police on the modern days, so.
He was on the ground. I didn't see him fighting back. I didn't see him like really pushing or punching anything like that.
Unfortunately, I'm not surprised. I'm not. And I feel as if I should be outraged, but I'm not. Because it happens so often and it's such commonplace that I'm not surprised. I'm angry and it hurts, but I'm not surprised.
Man, in my opinion, I think that the reason they did that right there because they want to show black people that even though we got a black president in office, we still not in power. So, I mean, if you got a badge, you got some kind of power. So, I mean, I think that's what, I think that was an example of it right there.
A lot of lack of understanding and a lot of fear. That's what I really think was going on right there.
I mean, it's 2009, but it's still racism out there, obviously, and police brutality is going on every day, as you can see.
Right.
Chances are he ain't gonna serve nothing for that.
Because it's happened so much.
That's like a prime example that our problems are still here. You know, they're not going anywhere. Change, I mean, yeah, we changed. We got a president who looks like us, but you can't change the way people think. You can't change upon whose backs the nation was built on. That's the way it is, and I just feel like that's the way it's gonna be.
If everything trickled down the way you would hope for it to, then you wouldn't have cops like that being police officers in the first place.
I would hope that he would bluntly and boldly stand up and say this can happen no more, but I mean, they've shown that if he plays his race card too much, then they start to shun him. So he can't embrace who he is because of his presidency. So it's like either you're black or you're the president. Which one you gonna be? We need to understand the problem, and we need to work together to find ways to solve this problem. And it might ultimately mean being, you know, separate, you know, completely. So.
And I guess I had the audacity that I say that America has changed. That's injustice at its best. It's nothing to say.
You know, back in April when the Sean Bell verdict came down, you know, the people gathered in the streets and they said never again. A few years before that, when Timothy Stansbury was murdered on his rooftop, the people gathered and they said never again. Before that, it was Abner Louima, Amadou Diallo, and the countless names that we may or may not even know. And the people gather and they say never again. Yet today we find ourselves here in the first month of 2009, and it's happened again.
It's going to continue to happen again and again and again. If we don't realize that in this country, in this world. Right. African people are at war. And we haven't settled this thing. It's as if we're in a situation where we're being bullied in this society. Right? And when you're being bullied, if you don't stand up to that bully, you will continue to be bullied. So these things continue to happen because we're not standing up. Right. And there's an African proverb that says, when you study a matter well, the solution will be clear. And we've studied this thing. We've shouted, no justice, no peace. We know what's going on, but we refuse to take that stand. As Malcolm said,
they're going to have a funeral in Harlem, make sure they have a funeral downtown too. 2 funerals at the same time. We want peace. We want justice. We want respect. We want to carry ourselves with dignity. But we don't want to walk around here in a police state giving people the right to think that they can take our life or break our limb or bust our head. And that's all that's going to happen from it. So I'm telling you, don't you ever expect justice in America. No, I'll tell you that if the man locked me up in the morning, don't expect any justice. The only way you get justice is in the street. The only way you get justice is in the sidewalk. The only way you get justice is when you make justice for yourself. You never will get justice in the white man's court.
And you know that there comes a point at which words are superfluous. So we leave you with this. And rest in Uhuru, Oscar Grant.
On this day, we gather because we have chosen hope over fear, unity of purpose over conflict and discord. The time has come to reaffirm our enduring spirit, to choose our better history, to carry forward that precious gift, that noble idea passed on from generation to generation, the God-given promise that all are equal, all are free, and all deserve a chance to pursue their full measure of happiness. For we know that our patchwork heritage is a strength, not a weakness. We are a nation of Christians and Muslims, Jews and Hindus, and non-believers. We are shaped by every language and culture, drawn from every end of this earth. And because we have tasted the bitter swill of civil war and segregation and emerged from that dark chapter stronger and more united, we cannot help but believe that the old hatreds shall someday pass, that the lines of tribes shall soon dissolve, that as the world grows smaller, our common humanity shall reveal itself, and that America must play its role in ushering in a new era of peace. What is required of us now is a new era of responsibility, a recognition on the part of every American that we have duties to ourselves, our nation, and the world. Duties that we do not grudgingly accept, but rather seize gladly, firm in the knowledge that there is nothing so satisfying to the spirit, so defining of our character, than giving our all to a difficult task. This is the price and the promise of citizenship.